Hello and welcome, beautiful souls. I hope you are all doing wonderfully today and resting in your highest power. I am picking up on a remarkably intense, deeply transformative energy surrounding your aura right now. We are going straight into the very heart of the matter today, because I am intuitively sensing that someone from your recent past is struggling profoundly with the harsh reality of your absence. There is a dark, incredibly heavy secret binding this soulmate connection together. Something they haven't dared to speak aloud to anyone, but it is quietly eating them alive from the inside out. Let's look at the cards on the table to uncover exactly what they are desperately hiding from you, what they are truly feeling in this suffocating silence, and what their next move will be. The first card that anchors this entire reading is the undeniable, earth-shattering energy of the Tower. This isn't just a gentle emotional shift, this is a catastrophic realization on their end. When you finally walked away, or when this separation was officially set into motion, it literally brought their entire internal world crashing down. Look at the imagery of this card. The lightning bolt striking the crown, the figures plummeting into the dark abyss. They built their life, their fragile ego, and their daily routines on a foundation of sand, arrogantly assuming you would always just be there, unconditionally waiting in the wings for them to be ready. The Tower represents the sudden, violent divine intervention that struck the very core of their reality. The lightning bolt is the sudden, undeniable truth that hit their consciousness. They lost you, and it was entirely their own fault. They are currently standing barefoot in the jagged rubble of what used to be their ultimate comfort zone. Every single time they attempt to rebuild their life without your energy, another brick falls. The universe is actively refusing to let them find peace in this separation. They are experiencing a complete, brutal ego death right now. All the stubborn pride, the silent treatments, and the walls they built meant absolutely nothing the second they realized your warm energy was completely withdrawn. This is a painful, absolutely necessary destruction, and they had to lose you completely to finally comprehend your astronomical value. Moving on to the next energy on the table, I see the Five of Cups. And oh, the heavy, suffocating sorrow attached to this specific vibration is palpable. Notice the figure in the card, cloaked in heavy black mourning robes, staring down completely utterly defeated at the three spilled cups on the ground. Those spilled cups represent all the terrible mistakes they made, the harsh, unforgiving words they spoke in anger, the countless neglected opportunities to show you love, and the sacred trust they foolishly broke. They are severely hyper-fixated on their regrets. They are living entirely in the past, constantly, obsessively replaying the final chaotic moments of your relationship, wishing with every fiber of their being that they had chosen differently. What is so deeply tragic about this specific energy is that they are entirely consumed by their own shame. There are two cups still standing upright behind them, representing the love that still miraculously exists, the potential for ultimate healing and reconciliation, but they cannot even find the courage to turn around and look at them because their guilt is completely blinding. They feel entirely unworthy of your grace or forgiveness. They wake up every single morning with this heavy, sinking feeling in their chest, a very real physical ache of missing your presence, realizing that they traded a flawless diamond for a meaningless, temporary stone. The spilled water sinking into the earth represents their emotional leakage. They are drained, exhausted, and energetically depleted, because masking this immense level of regret from the outside world takes a monumental amount of daily psychological effort. Right beside that profound sorrow, I see the Nine of Swords. This is the classic card of the midnight hour, the terrifying anxiety that strikes right when the world goes quiet and they are left completely alone with the echoing voices in their head. This person is simply not sleeping. They are tossing and turning every single night, haunted mercilessly by the ghost of your beautiful memory. The heavy, sharp swords hanging ominously on the black wall behind the weeping figure represent the impenetrable mental prison they have actively built for themselves. Their racing thoughts are a constant, agonizing loop of what-ifs, if-onlys, and worst-case scenarios. They are completely terrified that you have already moved on, absolutely sickened by the thought that you might have found someone better who treats you right, and completely paralyzed by the looming fear that it is already too late to fix the beautiful thing they shattered. This anxiety is manifesting in their physical reality: chronic stress, severe exhaustion, and a complete inability to focus on their career or daily tasks. Every time their phone screen lights up, their heart drops into their stomach, desperately hoping it is a message from you. And the crushing disappointment when it isn't feels exactly like a fresh knife wound. You hold so much raw power over their mental state right now, and you likely have absolutely no idea. You are entirely in your own divine energy, focusing on your healing, looking forward while they are trapped in the endless, dark labyrinth of their own making, unable to find the exit because the only exit requires them to finally face you and admit their profound failures. Then, the energetic frequency of the table shifts dramatically as I see the death card. This brings in that intense magnetic Scorpio energy, the energy of absolute unavoidable total transformation. Please understand that this card is never about physical endings. Rather, it is about the agonizing death of an era, the necessary death of their old toxic self. The person you previously knew, the one who was emotionally unavailable, constantly defensive, inconsistent, or unable to step up to the plate, is slowly, painfully dying away. The universe is mercilessly stripping away all their childish defense mechanisms. This painful separation was divinely orchestrated and meant to happen, purely to force this massive transformation upon their soul. They are currently in the chrysalis phase, trapped in the dark, being broken down to their fundamental, raw core. The dark, unspoken secret binding this entire connection is that they secretly always knew this transformation was desperately required, but they were simply too cowardly to undergo the painful process while you were still safely holding their hand. They had to lose the absolute most precious thing in their entire life to finally submit to the universe's strict demand for change. They are shedding their old, scaly skin. It is painful, it is incredibly messy, and it is overwhelmingly lonely for them. But beneath that heavy skeletal armor depicted on the card, a brand new, vastly more authentic, and emotionally mature version of them is desperately trying to take its first real breath. They are finally realizing that to ever be worthy of standing beside your royal energy again, they absolutely cannot remain the broken person they were. Beneath all this heavy destruction and spiritual transformation, the undeniable, eternal truth of your connection finally emerges into the light. The next card is the Two of Cups. This is the ultimate soulmate bond, the twin flame resonance, the sacred, unbreakable divine contract they are trying in vain to run away from. No matter how much physical distance is currently wedged between you, no matter how many weeks or months of silence have passed, the shimmering golden thread connecting your heart chakras remains completely, vibrantly intact. They feel your energy constantly. When you are having a joyful, high-vibrational day, they feel a sudden, unexplainable lightness in their step. When you decide to pull your energy away entirely and cut the cord in your mind, they feel a sudden, terrifying, inexplicable panic attack. The Two of Cups indicates that they know, deep down in the very marrow of their bones, that you are their ultimate divine counterpart. They actively compare every single new person they meet to you, and everyone else falls tragically, laughably short. The new conversations are agonizingly dull. The new connections feel entirely superficial. The chemistry is completely dead on arrival. They now realize that the profound energetic exchange they shared with you, the magical way you understood their thoughts without a single word, the way you saw straight through their protective masks, the way you loved them so unconditionally, is a literal once-in-a-lifetime miracle. They arrogantly took it for granted. They genuinely thought they could find that level of love anywhere else. But the Two of Cups is haunting them, mocking their foolish arrogance, and proving to them every single solitary day that you are entirely irreplaceable. And this brings us directly to the shadowy underbelly of this reading, the dark, obsessive secret they are hiding from the world. The next card placed down is the Devil. This represents pure obsession. This is toxic, gripping attachment. This is the heavy shadow side of a profound soulmate connection. They are fundamentally addicted to your unique energy signature. Even now, in this cold separation, they are completely obsessed with your existence. They are undoubtedly monitoring your social media from a distance, perhaps asking mutual friends cryptic questions about your well-being, or even creating fake, anonymous accounts just to silently watch what you are doing and who you are with. The Devil card represents the heavy iron chains they have wrapped tightly around their own ankles. They are bound to you by their own deeply unhealed trauma and their desperate, starving need for your radiant light. You are their only safe sanctuary in a dark world, and without you, their internal demons are running completely wild and unchecked. This card also strongly speaks to the fierce internal battles they are currently fighting, perhaps escaping into addictions, falling back into toxic habits, or engaging in lower vibrational, self-sabotaging behaviors that originally caused the agonizing rift between you two. They are currently locked in a brutal, exhausting cage match with their own shadow self. They desperately want to break free from these toxic, repeating karmic cycles, but the gravitational pull of their familiar darkness is incredibly strong. However, their unshakable obsession with you is slowly but surely becoming the ultimate catalyst for them to finally confront these horrible demons head-on. They know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you will absolutely not accept them back into your sacred space in this lower vibrational state. You embody a high priestess and emperor energy now. Your aura strictly demands purity, absolute honesty, and true, unwavering alignment. Because of this incredibly intense internal spiritual warfare and toxic undercurrent, they were forced to retreat from the world. I see the hermit resting quietly and solemnly on the table. They have completely isolated themselves from their normal social circles. They might be lying to their friends and family, telling them that they are just focusing heavily on work or taking some much-needed time for themselves. But the absolute truth is, they are in a state of profound, agonizing spiritual exile. Look at the hermit carrying his lantern containing a bright six-pointed star, illuminating the snowy, desolate darkness. This represents their desperate, lonely search for their own inner truth. They are sitting entirely in the dark, obsessively analyzing every single minute detail of your past relationship, trying to mathematically figure out where exactly they went so wrong, why they stupidly pushed your love away, and how they became so incredibly blind to their own beautiful blessings. This intense period of cold isolation is absolutely crucial for their development. Do not interrupt it. Do not reach out to save them. They need to sit shivering in the freezing, dark cave of their own making. They need to feel the full, crushing weight of your silence. It is only in this space of complete, sensory-depriving isolation that the quiet, guiding voice of their higher self can finally be heard over the screaming noise of their bruised ego. The hermit clearly signifies that they are, finally, doing the required internal shadow work. They are journaling, meditating, or simply staring blankly at the ceiling for hours on end, forced by the universe to confront the flawed man or woman looking back at them in the mirror. But this period of deep freezing isolation is rapidly reaching its absolute boiling point. It cannot and will not last forever. The very next card to fly onto the table is the Eight of Wands. This is the thrilling energy of sudden, rapid, unstoppable forward movement. It is the violent breaking of the emotional dam. All of this pent-up, suppressed emotion, all of this suffocating regret, and all of this powerful spiritual realization is rapidly building up a massive amount of kinetic energy, and it is actively preparing to fire directly into your reality. The Eight of Wands practically screams that communication from them is imminent. It will happen fast, and it will come completely out of nowhere. You might be making your morning coffee, walking your dog, laughing with friends, or completely focused on building your own beautiful life, and suddenly, their name will flash brightly across your phone screen. This card indicates a desperate, burning need to clear the heavy air between you two. They can no longer safely contain the immense emotional pressure building inside their chest. The agonizing silence has finally become significantly more painful than their deep-seated fear of your rejection. When they finally do reach out, it will likely be a massive flood of words, a very long, emotionally charged text message, a sudden, breathless phone call, or an entirely unexpected physical appearance at your door. They want to bridge the massive gap quickly. They want to rush in and miraculously fix everything in a single, desperate moment, driven completely by the sheer, overwhelming panic of losing you to someone else forever. But please remember, the Eight of Wands is incredibly fast, fiery, chaotic energy. You must remain the deeply grounded, solid earth that calmly receives it. Do not let their sudden urgency throw you off your own high pedestal. Before they can actually take that fiery, impulsive action, however, they are currently still navigating the treacherous, murky waters of the moon. This card beautifully yet hauntingly represents the deep subconscious, confusing illusions, and deeply hidden psychological fears. While they logically know they absolutely must reach out to you, as we clearly saw in the Eight of Wands, the moon shows that they are still actively battling massive, crippling insecurities. They are unfairly projecting their own deep fears of inadequacy onto you. They imagine in their mind that you absolutely hate them. They imagine that you will coldly laugh in their face, humiliate them, or just ignore them completely, leaving them on read. The moon is the terrifying realm of the absolute unknown, and they are terrified of the unknown, unmapped terrain of your current, healed heart space. They simply don't know who you are without them anymore. They see you glowing, expanding, evolving, and thriving from afar, and it deeply intimidates their fragile ego. The moon also strongly signifies that there are still many things completely hidden from your view. When they do finally come forward, they might not reveal the full, terrifying depth of their agony and regret immediately. They might nervously test the waters with a casual, seemingly innocent message to gauge your emotional temperature before deciding to pour their bleeding heart out to you. They are essentially walking blindly through a thick psychological fog, desperately trying to find the necessary courage to face the brilliant, blinding, exposing light of your absolute truth. And that beautifully brings us to the penultimate realization of this spread, judgment. This is the literal trumpet call from the high heavens, the ultimate, unavoidable spiritual awakening. They are finally, truly waking up from the long, dark coma of their own toxic ignorance. Judgment is entirely about taking absolute, unwavering accountability for past actions and karmic debts. It is the sobering realization that universal karma is very real, that the law of cause and effect absolutely cannot be escaped or outsmarted. They are judging themselves far, far more harshly right now than you ever possibly could. They see the entire timeline of your relationship with absolute, painful, crystal clarity now. They see exactly where they failed to protect your heart, exactly where they failed to value your devotion, and exactly where they selfishly chose their own bloated ego over your beautiful soul. This powerful card signifies a massive, irreversible spiritual upgrade. They are hearing the divine call to rise from the cold grave of their past mistakes and be completely reborn in the light. They desperately want a second chance with you. They want to be fully absolved of their romantic sins. They realize, with absolute certainty, that you were a rare divine gift, a profound test from the universe itself, and they failed it miserably. Now, they are practically on their knees begging the universe for a retest. They are finally ready to answer the call, to step all the way up, and to finally become the incredibly strong, emotionally available person you always knew they had the potential to be. But the absolute key here is that judgment requires total, raw honesty. There is absolutely no hiding behind comfortable masks or half-truths anymore. As we gently near the end of this profound reading, I see the sweet, gentle Six of Cups resting softly on the table, offering a beautiful moment of poignant tenderness amidst all the heavy, dark transformation. This card represents pure, unfiltered nostalgia. It is the beautiful, painful romanticizing of the past you shared. They are currently spending hours upon hours looking longingly at old photos of the two of you, obsessively rereading old, sweet text messages and listening to specific songs that vividly remind them of your unique energy. They deeply remember the beautiful innocence of the early days, the pure, unadulterated joy and brilliant color you magically brought into their otherwise chaotic, gray life. The Six of Cups is a soul-deep, aching longing for the absolute safety and warmth of your physical embrace. You were their only true home in this world. You were the only safe place they ever felt truly, deeply accepted for exactly who they were, without the need for their heavy armor. They miss your genuine laugh. They miss your familiar smell. They miss the wonderfully simple, mundane moments of just quietly existing in the exact same room as you. This powerful, bittersweet nostalgia is the actual fuel that is currently driving their massive transformation. The beautiful memory of your pure love is the glowing lighthouse guiding their battered ship out of the dark, violent storm of the hermit and the devil. They want desperately to return to that beautiful innocence, to completely wipe the slate clean and start totally fresh, actively rebuilding a new, solid foundation with the pure, honest intentions they absolutely should have had from the very beginning. Finally, the ultimate outcome energy sitting right at the edge of the spread, actively preparing to physically enter your 3D reality, is the Knight of Cups. This is the beautiful culmination of all their internal agonizing, fully transforming into a real, tangible offer. After the absolute destruction of the Tower, the suffocating grief of the Five of Cups, the painful awakening of judgment, and the sweet longing of the Six of Cups, they are finally mounting their white horse. The Knight of Cups is slowly but surely coming forward with their beating heart held gently in their hands. This is absolutely not a rushed, chaotic, or toxic in-and-out approach like a page or a wand energy. This is a highly emotionally grounded, deeply sincere, and profoundly vulnerable offer of true love and a real apology. They are bringing you their beautiful cup, and it is completely full to the brim with genuine emotion, deep regret, and unwavering devotion. They want to look you in the eyes and apologize. They want to finally lay all their hidden cards on the table. They want to boldly offer you the romance, the solid commitment, and the profound emotional depth you always patiently asked for, but they could never provide until right now. This specific person has been through an absolute spiritual war within their own mind to get to this exact point. When this knight finally arrives at your door, they will feel entirely different from the broken, fearful person who arrogantly walked away from you. They are coming to fully, completely surrender to your love. The burning question is no longer about whether they will return to you. The question is entirely about what you, in your immense power, will choose to do with their cup when they finally offer it to you. You hold absolutely all the power in this dynamic now. Stay grounded in your beautiful, radiant, high vibrational energy. Keep focusing entirely on your own path, and let the universe orchestrate this profound return precisely as it is divinely meant to unfold, sending you so much love and endless light on your journey.